Hey, Jen here with Perpetual Odyssey. You are looking right now at the sink that came with our V. It is shallow. There is not enough room for me to put my electric skillet or my crock pot liner in it. It doesn't work for me. The sink, when it goes into one side, we've already replaced the spout that you're looking at, but when you put it over to the other side, it hardly even gets into the bowl to drain. A lot of the times it splashes up onto the side and makes a mess. It's annoying. So, when I noticed that there was a leak underneath, I had to investigate, and I decided instead of just fixing the leak, that it was time for an entire new sink. At first, I thought just the trap was leaking. I've had that happen before, and I had a little pan underneath there just to catch any drips that may have happened. It turns out it wasn't that. It was where the drain up there connects. The whole gasket or seal had been just basically disintegrated away. It started on one side and then progressed to the other side. So instead of just replacing those drains, they were RV drains and they were not easy to find online. So I just decided to buy a whole new sink. So I shut off the water to the RV, went inside, drained the RV water supply from inside, and then had to remove the old sink. Once I removed it, the new sink was not quite the same size. And I made sure I reviewed it with Casey first to make sure it was okay. I got a residential size sink, and so we ended up having to cut a little bit of the countertop away. Here's Casey right over here measuring and assessing the situation, and now here he is later on actually cutting out just a tiny bit of a larger space to drop in the new sink. I know RVs don't really have that much counter space as it starts out, but just losing that inch to inch and a half of counter space turned out to be well worth it for our new sink. I made sure that the new sink, that the attachments would fit. It was a 3-hole place for the old faucets and the same 3-hole place for the new faucets. And all said and done, it was fairly easy to install the new sink. Cutting out for the plumbing underneath turned out to be a little tricky, but luckily they make these flex pipes. This is ideal for my space. I had to cut, luckily I didn't cut it too small. I ended up having to go back and cut more off. But that flexi pipe was perfect. And when it comes to having, this is one of the limited areas for us to store things, that flexi pipe really gives a little bit more of an option so that I can put my slow cooker and my electric skillet and the other things that I store down here under the sink without having to worry that it's going to hit into the pipes and skew them in a way that it causes leaks. And although I needed Casey's help to cut the extra spot of the counter out, I was the one that had to get underneath there and do all the plumbing work because with my tinier hands and my ability to reach underneath there, I had a better time at it. I really don't like doing RV work because of the small spaces, but at least I'm a little bit more suited to it than he is. And now the final product, our brand new residential size kitchen sink. My electric skillet fits in it just perfectly. It's deeper than the old sink. It doesn't get hung up or caught on anything. Everything that I own can actually fit into this sink to get washed. And here's a quick look underneath at that flexi pipe. And you can see how it actually is bending to the side a little bit. That's a genius invention. Especially for RV plumbing, it makes a lot of sense. I so far haven't had to clean it out. Nothing's gotten stuck or caught. I could see that potentially happening in the future, but for right now, all is well with my brand new kitchen sink, my RV kitchen sink.